The saying goes, you don't choose your family. And no, you most certainly do not. But they are your family. So no matter how they drive you crazy or how annoying they are, you're stuck with them. And this includes your siblings, who you're always stuck with. So even though my brother continues to whine about how much easier my life is than his, I'm still his sister. And yeah, I am the younger sibling, so shouldn't I be advocating that I have the easier life? Well, it's been my experience that the youngest sibling doesn't always have it easier than the oldest sibling. And that's our resolution. Resolve that the youngest sibling has it easier than the eldest. There are a few key terms that need defining. First, the term easier, which is defined as not hard or difficult, no great labor or effort. And then there are definitions for youngest sibling and eldest sibling. A CBS study of siblings defines the oldest sibling as reliable, conscientious perfectionists who don't like surprises. Although firstborns are typically aggressive, many are compliant people pleasers. They are model children who have a strong need for approval from anyone in charge. The youngest sibling is defined as babies of the family who are social and outgoing. They are the most financially irresponsible of all the birth orders. While lastborns may be charming, they also have the potential to be manipulative, spoiled, or baby to the point of helplessness. Now the whole issue of sibling rivalry dates back to Cain and Abel, and I'm not going to give everybody a biblical lesson. But the current status quo is that the youngest sibling has it easier than the oldest sibling. That's what mostly everybody believes. But the thing is, easier is defined as not hard, no great labor or effort. Well, there's a lot of effort with being the youngest sibling that makes it hardest to be the youngest, and easier to be the oldest. The first of these is that the youngest sibling will often be compared to the older sibling. The older sibling came first, and this doesn't mean that one child is favored over the other, but how can there not be a comparison? The youngest sibling has to live up to what the oldest sibling has accomplished, what the oldest sibling did in the same situation, and so on. Their whole lives, the youngest sibling is in the shadow of the older, not necessarily in a negative light, but they never lived their lives without the other sibling there. So how is that not hard or not without effort? How about the effort it takes to live up to expectations set before you? Is that easy? The older sibling sets the bar and they get everything first. The youngest sibling gets all the hand-me-downs. Even if it's boy to girl, the youngest sibling gets a lot of hand-me-downs. It's not easy not to have your own stuff for a lot of your life. Plus, the oldest sibling had a period of their lives where they were the only child. No younger sibling to contend with, which made their lives pretty easy too. Also, older siblings can get away with more. I know by the time the youngest rolls around, the parents are more lax because they don't care. Parents always care. But with a first child, parents don't always know what to expect and what signs to look for. So the oldest can get away with more because parents can be totally clueless to what's going on. And that makes their social lives pretty easy, whereas when it comes time for the youngest sibling to start pulling tricks, all the lines have been used before because where did they learn them? The oldest sibling, who used them before. So the parents already know. It's not easy on the youngest then. Another part of being the youngest sibling is that it's not entirely easy that you're babied. I know that it looks awesome, and it is when you're a little kid and a teenager, but when you're older and have issues with your finances because you never learned to take care of yourself when you were younger because everyone else took care of you, is that easy? The younger sibling can be babied to the point of helplessness, which is in the definition of what a younger sibling is. If your whole life you're always paid for, everyone is always telling you to do this and do that, you don't make your own choices, and everyone makes your mistakes before you, so you know better. But then what of your own mistakes do you really make? When the youngest grows up and goes in the real world, it can be a shock because no, you don't get $10 from mom to go out. And no, your older sibling isn't there to tell you not to take that class or not to do this or that. It's a rude awakening and one that is not without effort, so it's not easy. In addition to this, how much of their own personality does the younger sibling necessarily have? Younger siblings want to be their older siblings when they're younger, so they act like them and develop some of their traits. Then how individual are they? Not every younger sibling acts just like their older sibling, but the fact that the younger sibling has the older sibling as a role model impacts their lives at least a little bit. The younger sibling looks up to the older sibling as a role model, as someone to be like and act like. So if the older sibling mouths off to their parents a lot, what's the younger sibling supposed to think? And if the older sibling gets bad grades, why should the younger sibling have to work any harder? I'm not saying being a role model is easy, but following a role model is easy because you don't know any better. And then how does that impact the rest of your life? How many younger siblings end up following their older siblings in professions or sports or activities? As the younger sibling, you want to be your older sibling, so you do what they do. But then is that really what you want? And then by the time you figure that out, that you don't want that, is it too late? Then how is that easy? I would like to say that my points of argument are extremely generalized, and every sibling experience is case to case. You can't say that all younger siblings are just like their older siblings, or that all younger siblings are financially irresponsible. Those are generalizations. But then, so is saying that the youngest sibling has it the easiest, because they don't always have it the easiest. Every case is different. I think that when it comes down to it, every place in the sibling lineup comes with its own struggles and issues, and good and bad, and there's no way that you can just generalize that. Does the younger sibling have it easier than the oldest? Not always. Sometimes they have their problems, and sometimes they have it easy. And then sometimes the older sibling has it easier. But the resolution says that the youngest sibling has it easier than the oldest. Not that they sometimes have it easier, but that they have it easier, just in general. And as I said, that's a generalization you can't make, because every case and every person is different. So how can you judge something like that? But then let's be honest, the middle child always has it the hardest, and that's a generalization we can probably make.